The rapid tapping of Aaron Johnson's fingertips on her calculator keys filled her cozy home office with a rhythmic hum. As a single mom, she stole a quick glance at the clock, her heart racing only 30 minutes until she had to pick up her son Noah from school. She was putting the final touches on a client's year-end financial statement, her focus razor-sharp despite the ticking clock. "Mom, are you still working?" Noah's voice broke through her concentration as he poked his head into the room, his tousled brown hair and sparkling blue eyes a mirror image of his father's. Erin's lips curved into a warm smile as she reached for her coffee mug, its warmth comforting in her hand. "Almost done, buddy. Have you tackled your homework yet?" Noah grinned, waving a sheet of paper triumphantly. "I aced all the math problems, but I'm stumped on a history question. Can you help?" Erin's heart swelled with pride at Noah's dedication to his schoolwork. She'd been the backbone of their little family, raising Noah single-handedly while excelling as an accountant at a small local firm. Ever since her father's sudden heart attack 5 years ago, life had piled on more responsibilities, but Erin never let it break her spirit. "Give me just 10 more minutes, okay? Then we'll dive into that history question together." The phone's sharp ring cut through the moment, and Erin let out a soft sigh. It was her mother, Vivian, her voice carrying that familiar, commanding edge. "Erin, we need to talk about tomorrow's dinner party. Amanda's bringing her fiancé. Gorgeous, isn't he?" "You're coming right." Erin's brow furrowed. Her sister Amanda, always the golden child, was Vivian's pride and joy, with her stunning looks and effortless charm. Erin, on the other hand, was often dismissed as too practical, too dull. "Of course, Mom, I'll be there with Noah." Vivian's sigh crackled through the line. "Fine, but please make sure Noah behaves. We can't have him stealing the spotlight from Amanda's big moment." Erin bit back a retort. Noah was the most well-mannered kid she knew. Why did her family always assume the worst? "Don't worry, Mom." The next evening, Erin and Noah pulled up to Vivian's sprawling suburban mansion, its elegance almost intimidating. Erin took a deep breath, her hand resting on Noah's shoulder, giving it a reassuring squeeze. "We've got this," Mom Noah said softly, his voice steady. "I know Grandma and Aunt Amanda aren't our biggest fans." Erin's chest tightened at her son's quiet wisdom. How did kids pick up on so much? Stepping inside Amanda's bright laughter rang out from the living room, where she stood in a dazzling cocktail dress, a glass in hand, chatting with a tall, unfamiliar man. "Erin, Noah, you're here." Vivian greeted them with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Amanda, your sister, and Noah have arrived." Amanda spun around, her smile polished but cold. "Erin, it's so great to see you. This is my fiancé, Michael Foster." Michael rose, his dark brown hair framing kind, warm eyes that sparked a flicker of recognition in Erin's mind. Had she seen him before? "It's a pleasure, Erin," Michael said, his voice soft and sincere as he extended his hand. His handshake was warm, his grip gentle, and Erin felt an unexpected flutter. "Nice to meet you too," she replied, gesturing to her son. "This is Noah." Michael's face lit up as he crouched slightly to meet Noah's gaze. "Hey, Noah, what grade are you in?" Fifth. Noah mumbled, a bit shy. "Fifth grade." "That's awesome. I built a solar system model for my science fair. Back then. Pretty cool, right?" Michael's tone was so genuine that Noah's nerves seemed to melt away. Amanda's sharp throat clearing sliced through the moment. "Michael, darling, could you grab me some wine?" Erin couldn't help but like Michael. He seemed kind, grounded. Nothing like Amanda's usual self-absorbed flair. How did someone so thoughtful end up with her sister? Dinner was a whirlwind of Amanda and Vivian gushing over wedding plans, the exquisite dress, the lavish venue, the celebrity chef catering. Erin sat quietly, her input never sought, her presence barely acknowledged. "Oh, Erin, no need to worry about the dress since you're not a bridesmaid," Amanda said suddenly, her tone dripping with false sweetness. Erin blinked, stunned. "I'm not a bridesmaid." Amanda's smile tightened. "Well, we haven't exactly been close lately, have we? Plus, you're so busy with work, and you know, being a single mom." Vivian nodded smugly. "Exactly, dear. We wouldn't want to overwhelm you." Erin's heart stung, but she kept her face neutral, used to her family's dismissals. Under the table, Noah's small hand found hers squeezing tightly. Only Michael looked uneasy, clearing his throat. "But isn't family what makes these moments special? Shouldn't Erin and Noah have a bigger role?" Amanda's eyes widened, her lips parting in surprise. They're invited, of course, it's just the bridesmaids are my closest friends. Erin caught Michael's eye and offered a small, grateful smile. At least someone saw her. After dinner, Erin slipped into the kitchen to help clean up the familiar role of the practical one settling over her. Michael appeared beside her, his sleeves rolled up. "Need a hand?" he asked, his tone light. "I've got it," Erin said, scrubbing a plate. "Amanda and Mom always leave this stuff to me. Guess it's my superpower." Michael watched her for a moment, his expression thoughtful. "You're not what Amanda described," he said quietly. Erin's hand stilled. "What's that supposed to mean?" Michael's lips quirked into a soft smile. "Nothing bad. I'd like to get to know you and Noah better." He left the kitchen and Erin stood frozen, that nagging sense of familiarity tugging at her again. Where had she seen him before? On the drive home, Noah piped up from the back seat. "Michael's pretty cool, huh? Why's he marrying Aunt Amanda?" Though Erin burst out laughing, the tension easing. "Noah, you're too smart for your own good. But let's keep that between us, okay?" As the wedding loomed closer, Erin felt more like an outsider in her own family. Amanda and Vivian shared no details, asked for no input. Yet Erin quietly took on the grunt work, addressing invitations, coordinating with the venue, triple-checking every detail with her accountant's precision. One afternoon, as she sorted through a stack of RSVPs, Michael appeared beside her. "You're always working behind the scenes, aren't you?" he said, his voice tinged with admiration. "It's no big deal," Erin shrugged, brushing off the compliment. "I'm good at the boring stuff," Michael studied her, his gaze steady. "You know, you seem so familiar. Have we met before?" Erin's breath caught. "I've been wondering the same thing, but I can't figure it out." Before she could say more, Noah bounded in, his face glowing. "Mom, Michael, I finished my history project." Michael grinned, kneeling beside him. "Nice. What's it about the Roman Empire?" Noah said proudly. "Whoa, that's epic. I'm a history nerd too. Tell me more." As Michael listened intently to Noah's excited chatter, Erin's heart warmed. How many men had dismissed Noah? Yet here was Michael genuinely engaged. A week before the wedding, Erin's phone buzzed with an unexpected call from Michael. "Erin, I need to talk to you," he said, his voice serious. "I want you to be Amanda's maid of honor." Erin nearly dropped the phone. "What Amanda didn't even pick me as a bridesmaid. I talked to her," Michael said firmly. "Family matters, especially for something like this." She agreed. Erin's emotions swirled, gratitude for Michael's kindness, doubt about Amanda's true feelings. Was this really okay? The next day, Vivian's furious call confirmed her fears. "Amanda's in tears. Why would you manipulate Michael like that?" Erin's jaw tightened. "I didn't ask for anything, Mom." "This was Michael's idea," Vivian scoffed. "Unbelievable. You always play the victim, trying to steal Amanda's thunder. This is her day." Erin took a steadying breath. "I want Amanda to be happy. If she doesn't want me as maid of honor, I'll step back." "Too late for that," Vivian snapped. "Michael's made up his mind. Just don't overshadow her, Erin." The morning of the wedding dawned bright, and Erin arrived at the church early, her heart pounding with a mix of nerves and determination. She smoothed the folds of her modest sky blue dress, its simplicity a quiet rebellion against Amanda's extravagance, perfect for a maid of honor who didn't want to stir the pot. Noah, dapper in his little suit, beamed up at her. "Mom, you look absolutely stunning." His words warmed her heart, chasing away the butterflies in her stomach. Inside the preparation room, Amanda was a vision in her lavish wedding gown, surrounded by giggling bridesmaids. But when Erin stepped in, her sister barely spared her a glance, offering only a curt nod that stung like a slap. "Well, Erin," Vivian said, her lips pursed in that familiar judgmental way, "that dress is so you, isn't it?" Erin forced a smile, swallowing the hurt. The ceremony unfolded with solemn grace, and Erin stood behind Amanda, her smile unwavering, as she caught Michael's gentle gaze. Every so often, he'd flash her a reassuring smile. Why did it feel like he was checking on her? The reception kicked off with a burst of music. The bride and groom's entrance met with cheers, toasts, and twirling dancers. Erin sat at a quiet table with Noah, savoring their meal content to watch the celebration unfold from the sidelines. Then came the speeches, and Erin's stomach tightened as Amanda rose, microphone in hand, her eyes scanning the room before locking onto her sister. A sweet smile spread across Amanda's face, but something sinister flickered in her gaze. Thank you all for being here to celebrate this magical day, Amanda's voice dripped with charm. I'm overjoyed to share it with my dearest family and friends. She went on about the bliss of marriage, her words polished and perfect, until she turned pointing directly at Erin. Oh, and here's my sister Erin, the single mom who's never quite found anyone to love her. A ripple of awkward laughter spread through the crowd and Erin's face flushed, her breath catching. Anyone out there want to take her in? Amanda's laugh was sharp cutting. Kidding, just kidding. Some guests chuckled, but others squirmed, their discomfort palpable. Vivian snatched the microphone, her voice syrupy yet venomous. Our eldest daughter's always been so serious, so dull. Second-hand goods but still functional, comes with a defective son. Though laughter erupted again, louder this time, and Erin froze, her heart shattering. Noah's eyes glistened with tears, his small hand clutching hers under the table. Mom, he whispered, his voice trembling. Erin's chest ached, but she stood slowly gripping Noah's hand. Let's go, she murmured, her voice barely audible. But then out of the corner of her eye, she saw Michael rise, his face flushed with barely contained fury. The room fell silent, every eye turning to the groom. What was he doing? Michael took a deep breath, stepping away from Amanda to seize the microphone, his gaze locking onto Erin's, brimming with an intensity that made her heart skip. The venue was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Michael's expression was unlike anything she'd seen, stern, resolute. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, each word deliberate, today has become the day I make the most important decision of my life. But it's not the one you're expecting. Amanda's smile vanished, her face twisting with confusion. Vivian stood rooted to the spot, her eyes wide. First, I need to address that speech, Michael said, his voice steady but laced with anger. Those words aimed at Erin and Noah were cruel, heartless, and utterly unacceptable. I will not align myself with such values. Amanda opened her mouth to protest, but Michael silenced her with a raised hand, his authority undeniable. There's something else you all need to know. Michael continued, his voice softening as he took another deep breath. Erin and I didn't meet for the first time recently. Erin's head snapped up, her pulse racing. What was he talking about? A memory stirred, faint but growing clearer. 10 years ago, my sister Caroline was battling leukemia, Michael said, his voice catching. Erin was a volunteer at the hospital. I was 22, lost and scared, but Erin only 25, her strength, her kindness, it saved me. Hot tears pricked Erin's eyes as the fog in her mind lifted. Caroline Foster, she remembered her vividly, a young woman in her mid-20s fighting leukemia with a courage that had inspired Erin. Having survived the same illness in her youth, Erin had poured her heart into volunteering at the hospital, a way to give back. During Caroline's final months, Erin was a rock for her, and our family, Michael said, his voice trembling. Even after Caroline passed, Erin checked in on us, offering comfort when we needed it most. Erin's tears spilled over her heart, swelling with the weight of those memories. It took me years to heal from that loss, Michael admitted, his voice breaking. Caroline's death left a void I thought I'd never fill. He paused, steadying himself. 3 years ago, I met Amanda at a party. Her vibrancy, her charm, it drew me in. I didn't realize she was Erin's sister until we were already dating. His gaze shifted to Amanda, now a mix of sadness and disillusionment. The stories Amanda told me about Erin were skewed, filled with bias. I wanted to believe she could grow change. Amanda's face contorted with rage, her fist clenched. Vivian had sunk into a chair, her face pale. But after our engagement, I saw Amanda's true colors, Michael said softly. Her coldness, her self-centeredness, especially toward Erin and Noah, it shook me. And when I met Noah, I was floored. He was the little boy who visited Caroline's hospital room. Erin looked at Noah, her heart swelling. At 5, he tagged along during her volunteer shifts, handing out handmade cards that lit up the patients' faces. Noah, just a kindergartner, then had this incredible gift for making my sister smile. Michael said, his voice warm. When I realized he was Erin's son, it felt like fate. Noah's eyes widened, a spark of recognition in them. I remember her. I gave her a crayon drawing. Michael's smile was tender. Exactly, Noah. Caroline cherished those drawings until her last day. Michael's expression hardened again, his jaw tight. Over the course of our engagement, my doubts about Amanda and Vivian grew. Their treatment of Erin and Noah, their lack of compassion, it gnawed at me. I kept hoping they'd change, but today's speech obliterated that hope. He slipped off his wedding ring, the metallic clink echoing in the stunned silence. Gasps rippled through the crowd. I'm calling off this marriage, he declared, his voice quiet but unyielding. 10 years ago, Caroline's dying words were about family, real family respects, and supports one another. Amanda Vivian. You've shown the opposite today. Amanda's scream pierced the air. This is a prank, right, Michael? What are you doing? No prank, Michael said firmly. I'm doing what's right. He stepped toward Aaron and Noah, his eyes soft but resolute. I've spent years searching for the compassionate soul I met in that hospital. He extended his hand to Aaron. Come with me. Let's leave together. Aaron's tears streamed down her cheeks as she took his trembling hand, her heart pounding. Noah stood grabbing Michael's other hand, his small face brave despite the chaos. Wait, Vivian, shrieked, her voice shrill. Do you know how much this wedding cost? Michael turned, his tone calm but final. Send the bills to my office. I'll cover everything. As the three walked out, Michael gave a respectful nod to the priest. I'm so sorry for the disruption. Stepping into the warm sunlight, Aaron felt her lungs expand as if she could finally breathe. I can't believe this is happening, she whispered, her voice shaky. Michael's eyes softened. You really don't remember? Caroline. Aaron closed her eyes, memories flooding back. How could I forget her smile? Even in her worst pain, she radiated hope. Her voice quivered. But I didn't remember much of you, Michael. I was helping so many patients back then. I never forgot you, Michael said quietly. Your strength, your selflessness, it stayed with me. After Caroline died, I tried to find you, but I didn't have your contact info. Noah looked up, his eyes bright. So what's next for us? Michael rested a hand on Noah's shoulder, his smile warm. How about we grab a quiet dinner somewhere and figure out what's ahead together? Aaron's heart fluttered, a long-closed door creaking open with possibility. As Michael's Lexus pulled away from the church, furious shouts echoed behind them. In the rearview mirror, Aaron glimpsed Amanda, her wedding gown hiked up, chasing after the car, her makeup streaked with tears, her perfect updo unraveling. Vivian stumbled behind her, gasping for breath. Michael, get back here! Amanda's screams pierced the air. Michael sighed, glancing at Aaron. You okay? Aaron exhaled, her gaze drifting to the chaotic scene outside, guests murmuring, some snapping photos, Amanda's friends trying to soothe a frantic Vivian. I don't know, she admitted, her voice raw, but I need to get Noah out of here. Noah sat quietly in the back, his eyes still shimmering with unshed tears. Mom, are you okay? He asked softly. Aaron turned, her smile soft but certain. I'm okay, sweetheart. We're together. That's what matters. The golden hues of the evening sky painted the calm sea as Michael eased his Lexus into the parking lot of a quaint coastal restaurant. From their terrace seats, Aaron, Michael, and Noah gazed out at the serene waves, the air tinged with salt and promise. They sat in silence, menus in hand, emotions swirling too fiercely to capture in words. How could they even begin to process the day's chaos? I'm so sorry, Michael finally said, his voice heavy with regret, for dragging you into this mess. Aaron shook her head, her eyes soft but resolute. Don't you dare apologize. You stood up for us, protected us. Thank you, Michael, especially for Noah. She glanced at her son, her heart aching at his brave attempt to hide his hurt. I'm okay, Mom. Noah said, his voice steady but his small hands trembling in his lap. I know Grandma and Aunt Amanda were wrong. Their words don't define me. Michael's hand found Noah's shoulder, his touch gentle yet firm. You're incredible, Noah. Did you know Caroline used to call you her little son? Your visits lit up her world. Noah's eyes sparkled with surprise. Really, she said that? Absolutely. Michael's smile was warm, genuine. You're a special child, Noah. Caroline always looked forward to your visits. Aaron's heart swelled, her own smile mirroring his. It's true, Noah. Caroline's face glowed every time you walked into her room. As their plates arrived, steaming with fresh seafood and vibrant salads, Aaron felt a rare sense of safety wash over her. Michael's quiet strength across the table was like an anchor in the storm of the day. Michael, she ventured, her voice tentative, why did you get engaged to Amanda? Did you love her? Michael paused, his fork hovering over his plate, his eyes distant. Honestly, at first her energy pulled me in. After losing Caroline, my world was so dark. And Amanda, she was like a burst of light, dazzling and alive. He spun his water glass slowly, his voice softening. When I found out she was your sister, it felt like fate, like some thread tying me back to you, even if I couldn't place it then. A wry smile tugged at his lips. But that brightness, it was all surface. Amanda craved attention, lacked heart, especially with you and Noah. Erin tilted her head, curiosity flickering. Yet you were ready to marry her. Michael's shoulders sagged, a flush of embarrassment on his face. I thought she could change. You know, I clung to her. Good moments and, well, once I'd committed, backing out felt impossible. Everyone expected the wedding to happen. He met Erin's gaze, his eyes earnest. But today, watching you and Noah endure that cruelty, I couldn't stay silent. My heart knew what I had to do. His phone buzzed sharply, Amanda's name flashing on the screen. Michael sighed, his jaw tightening. It rang again, relentless. Maybe you should take it, Erin suggested, her voice gentle but practical. Michael grimaced but answered, and Amanda's furious shout spilled from the speaker, loud enough for Erin and Noah to hear, despite their focus on their meal. How could you do this to me? Amanda's voice was a mix of rage and desperation. Michael's responses were calm, measured, though his face betrayed exhaustion. Amanda, my decision is final, he said at last, his tone unyielding. We'll talk through lawyers tomorrow. Please don't call again tonight. He hung up and a heavy silence settled over the table. I'm sorry you had to hear that, Michael said, his voice low. Erin shook her head, a faint smile breaking through. No need to apologize. This is complicated, isn't it? Noah's voice piped up, innocent and curious. Where are we now anyway? The adults exchanged warm glances, Michael's eyes crinkling. At the start of something new. Noah, a fresh path. How's that sound? After dinner, Michael drove them to Erin's apartment, the city lights twinkling like stars against the night. He parked and walked Erin to the entrance, the moonlight casting a silver glow on her hair. Thank you for everything today, Erin whispered, her voice thick with gratitude. No, thank you. Michael said, his gaze locked on hers, intense and sincere. Can I see you both tomorrow? Just the three of us. Erin's heart fluttered, a smile spreading across her face. Yes, I'd love that. Noah popped up at the entrance, his eyes bright. Mom, asked Michael. He promised to tell me more about Caroline. Michael's laugh was warm, infectious. You bet, Noah. I've got plenty of stories. Erin watched as Michael returned to his car, his final wave sending a wave of warmth through her. Inside the apartment, the answering machine blinked with Vivian's furious messages. Erin, how could you ruin everything? Amanda's heart broken. You manipulated Michael, didn't you? Erin's chest tightened, but she deleted the messages with a decisive press. Noah, hop in the bath, school's tomorrow. Noah tugged at her sleeve, his expression serious. Mom, do you like Michael? Erin blinked, caught off guard. I don't know him well yet, but he's kind, Noah. A good man. Noah grinned, undeterred. I like him. He's Caroline's brother. He stood up for us and he kept watching your smile. Erin ruffled his hair, her heart swelling. You're too perceptive, kiddo. That night, with Noah tucked into bed, Erin stood by the living room window, staring at the city's glow. Confusion and hope tangled in her chest. Could this really be a new beginning? Her phone pinged with a text from Michael, home safe. Is Noah okay? Her fingers hovered over the screen, a smile tugging at her lips as she replied, We're good. Thank you, Michael. His response was instant, glad to hear it. Coffee tomorrow after Noah's school drop-off. Her pulse quickened, a giddy warmth spreading through her. Sounds perfect. Good night, Michael. Clutching the phone to her chest, she exhaled, the weight of the family rift, the wedding's upheaval, and this unexpected connection settling into a strange, comforting peace. What did the future hold? 1 year later, autumn's vibrant maple leaves swirled around Maple Park as Erin hung the sign for her new venture, Johnson Financial Services, its letters gleaming in the morning sun. With Michael's encouragement and a small loan to get started, her accounting business had taken off, earning a stellar reputation in mere months. Mom, come on, we're going to be late for school. Noah called, his voice brimming with energy. At 11, he'd shot up in height, his confident grin, a far cry from last year's tears. As the soccer team captain, he was the talk of his school. Hold your horses, I'm coming. Erin laughed, her shoulder-length hair catching the light, its healthy shine mirroring the newfound spark in her eyes. Michael poked his head out from their new home's entrance where they lived together since Christmas. "I'll drive him," he offered, his tone casual but warm. Erin raised an eyebrow. "Don't you have that big meeting today?" Michael shrugged, a playful glint in his eyes. "Being 30 minutes late won't cause a catastrophe. Noah's Day is what matters." They made a detour to a small cemetery downtown, the air crisp with fall's chill. Placing fresh flowers on Caroline's grave, the three joined hands in quiet reverence. "I kept my promise," Sis Michael whispered, his voice thick with emotion. Erin squeezed his hand, her heart full, while Noah set a small stone on the gravestone, a tender ritual he'd shared with Caroline. "I feel her with us," Noah said softly, his voice steady. Erin leaned into Michael, her head resting on his shoulder. "Thank you, Caroline," she thought, gratitude swelling in her chest. Miles away, Amanda packed her belongings in her once luxurious apartment, the walls now bare. The wedding scandal had unraveled her social circle, her so-called friends, vanishing as Vivian's futile lawsuit against Michael, despite his covering all costs, tarnished their reputation further. Amanda was downsizing to a modest apartment, forced to live within her means for the first time. Vivian, too, faced isolation, her vanity-fueled life crumbling as her socialite friends distanced themselves. Her occasional calls to Erin were met with curt replies, the rift she'd created now a chasm. Was she finally seeing the cost of her actions? On Christmas Eve, Erin, Michael, and Noah lounged by the fireplace, the crackling flames casting a cozy glow. Noah, fast asleep with dreams of presents, sprawled on the couch. Michael slipped a small box from his pocket, his eyes nervous but hopeful. "I've got something for you," he said softly. Erin's breath caught as she opened it, revealing a stunning emerald ring. "This—" "It was Caroline's," Michael said, his voice trembling. "She told me to give it to someone truly special." Tears brimmed in Erin's eyes. "Really," she said, "that? You and Noah, you've brought light back into my life," Michael said, taking her hand. "Will you marry me, Erin? Let's be a real family bound by heart, not just blood." Erin's smile trembled, Caroline's words echoing in her mind. "Yes," she whispered, her voice thick with joy. "Aren't we already a family?" Outside, snow fell softly, blanketing the world in quiet promise. A new year, a new beginning, sealed with love.